Hi, my name is Sheila Hill. I'm an intuitive life coach and a spiritual guide. I wanted to talk about how loud things have been lately. I've spoken to a number of people and experienced myself the loud. The ego is really loud, the trauma is really loud, the purging seems to be really loud. Everything feels loud. When it comes up, it's loud. And I've been going through it myself, but I also have been able to sort of tune into some visuals, some wisdom, and some guidance around why is it so loud? Like the one thing about this is that when the ego gets loud, because it's on its last legs in many, many ways, it tries to convince you that the fact that it's loud is evident of the fact that you haven't been doing your work. I actually went down that road a couple times in the last few weeks myself. Literally entertaining bullshit, to be honest with you. But here's the bigger, more energetic perspective that was offered to me that makes perfect sense by my higher self, is that we are going from a bandwidth that is, say, this wide for camera purposes, where we were always oscillating between the past and the future and never really landing in the present. And we know by being on this path that being presence, divine presence, in the present is where all of our power is. That we are being forced, corralled, manipulated, energetically attuned to being more present more of the time. Because this is where we string together our co-creations. This is where God consciousness, source, our higher self, is able to express themselves through us as a divine being, is only ever in the present moment. So the power is truly in presence in the present. So our bandwidth of space that we have had to dilute our energy and to entertain various thought forms and expressions, the bandwidth of being in that space where we could be in the past and in the present and in the future and not ever really be in the present, is closing in on us. So if you imagine that lane on the highway has become a very, very narrow space, that we are being attuned to the present moment so palpably that it also would make sense that when something comes up to be cleared, that too would be very, very loud, because being present fully as presence in the present is where we're headed. We're being attuned to the present moment. So of course, if the present moment was clean and clear and something dropped into it, whatever dropped in would be really, really loud. So it's not a function of whether you've done your work or not done your work at all. As I say, don't be like me and entertain bullshit. Understand that as we fine-tune our ability to be present while fine-tuning our inner programming and purifying and clearing and cleansing at a cellular level, that there are going to be moments in time where being in that present space and feeling like you've gone back to sleep, or you're really, really grieving, or you're feeling really not loved, or you're feeling super not connected, or you're feeling very, very lost, that the purpose of that is just to clean out that space. But it's also evident and evidence that you are truly being fully present with whatever it is. So things are going to be loud. That's the way this is going to be now, because we have achieved a state of ascension, enlightenment, higher vibratory expression where being present, and the box is small now, is where we wanted to be, where we needed to be. We're on target, but we still have some stuff to clear up. So I hope that helps you sort of understand the loud and how the ego has been very loud on a number of different topics lately. And a lot of it just doesn't even make any sense. The other piece to this that I will just add, because there's no point in doing another video on this one, is that we have reached a point now where there really is no more trying. There is really not even a whole lot of space left to do the work. Now, I'm obviously speaking to a certain demographic within the Awake and Aware community. If you consider yourself sort of a forerunner, and I don't want to create any kind of dynamic of anybody's better than anyone else, but if you're new to my content, there may still be some work, inner work and understanding for you to sort of get on top of. But to a greater extent, we don't have time anymore for that. We don't have time to sit with whatever it is that's come into our very loud field and go, oh, okay, well, this is rooted in this trauma, which is an inner child thing, which is this, which is that, which means I need to journal and do this kind of meditation and I need to do this kind of modality. We don't have time for that anymore. And in fact, actually trying to backtrack, sit with, and hold whatever is presenting is going to only create more suffering. I myself went through a period of about a week, last week, where I had a lot of things that were loud. And a big part of why I had so much sort of suffering in that time was because the channel kept changing. One minute it would be this, and the next minute it would be that, and then it would be something else, and then I would be fine. And I felt like the energies were kind of ragdolling me a little bit, and I couldn't get a grip. I couldn't apply my tools. I couldn't stay on one topic long enough to be with it, sit with it, process it, clear it, heal it, cleanse it, and then move on to the next topic before something else was on top of me. And this is, obviously, it's not till you come out the other side, but when you come out the other side of it, I realized that we don't have the energetic time to approach these things the way we used to approach them, and therefore it's no longer needed. So the more that you can be in the present moment and just be like, well, I'm angry right now. And then it could be 5 minutes or 5 hours later and you're not angry anymore. You don't need to go digging to figure out why you were angry and then process the anger and figure out what the wound behind the anger was. And right, we don't have time. The more we can simply just be a conduit for whatever it is that is moving through us, understanding that that is just what has to be cleared out to allow more divinity, more light, more alignment to come on, then that's just what it has to be. So you might be angry for 5 minutes or 5 hours, let it just be, let it work its way through you, and off it goes, and then you will be fine. 5 minutes or 6 hours later, you could be experiencing grief, but you could be experiencing bliss and connection and love and all of the sort of higher vibratory experiences too. And they're going to be just as transient until we've reached a point where we're really, really more of one and a lot less of the other. And depending on where you are in your journey, that's not for me to decide. Some days it's going to be one and some days it's going to be the other, and some moments one and some moments the other. So anyway, I'm starting to ramble. I just wanted to offer you a perspective on why things seem so loud when they come up now, and also to understand you're only going to create more suffering for yourself if you try and work on every single thing as they present, sort of the way that we have done it up until this point. There has been a very big quickening in the energies, and now we just have to put our skates on and get really good with just rolling with whatever is presenting, knowing that it's all temporary and it's always going to be that way. Anyway, I hope that this helps you. I hope that you have ease and grace in your journey, and I'm just sending you a little bit of love from my heart to yours. Until next time, bye for now.